Progress.
Mike, did you know your camera was on?
Do we have quorum? 3. Yeah, 4. Okay. All right. Good morning.
Madam Chairman.
Happy Wednesday. I am Michelle Gums, co-chair of the Legislative Committee. And we would like to call to order the Legislative Committee for Wednesday, October 18th, 10 a.m. Roll call, please.
Bates,
Right here.
Doherty,
Right here.
Molina,
Molina present.
Silva,
Silva is here.
Strathman,
Strathman here.
Gums,
Comes here.
Linder,
Linder here.
Teddy.
Here.
You have quorum.
All right, and without any objection, we have Molina, Silva, and Doherty that are remote. No objection. Thank you. Welcome. All right, we're going to, I would accept a motion to approve the minutes from September 20th, 2020,
Unanimous consent.
or unanimous consent request.
Consent.
Or is that a motion, Ms. Bates?
No, it's a request. You don't make a motion for unanimous consent. You just ask
No objection?
unanimous consent to approve.
No objection. Minutes are approved. All right, under new business, legislative update. So,
Madam
Um,
Chair, could you use your microphone, please?
oh, I'm so sorry. Thank
you.
you. So our legislative update just, right now, as you know, there's nobody in session and there's not a lot going on in Washington as we hear. Hopefully, well, I mean, hopefully that changes soon. So that work can actually get done, at some point. I have, we get our Friday updates from our representative, our lobbyist representatives in Washington. They're there regularly updating us on what is not happening. And what the votes are and things along that line. As you know, here in Illinois, our veto session begins next week, 10/24. They'll be in session from the 24th, 25th, and then 26th. And then the following week from the 7th through the 9th. Our lobbyists are and have been working on some of the electeds' priorities. One of those being obviously the Long Meadow project. And you might ask, how do they work? Well, it's a very non-tangible job, right? So you're having communications with these legislators and meetings, and it's a gift that some people have to be able to drop a dime in their ear and say, how's this going? Are we still on track? So things like that are happening. We're also, we are narrowing down, Mr. Linder and I, we're having biweekly phone conversations with our lobbyists. The team, so it is myself, Mr. Linder, and then the lobbyist team for those biweekly updates. Obviously, those will be more inclusive once we are in session and we know what's going on. As far as what's going on, like what the plan is, what the bills are, and those kinds of things. Additionally, we are getting continued notifications of grant opportunities that are being forwarded to those other electeds and other divisions and sometimes other people. And those are well appreciated. Now, I personally subscribe to all kinds of things that give me grant opportunities. I know a lot of you do as well. I know you probably get a lot of information through environmental stuff. So the committee, I just ask that you continue to review those and bring those forward if you have things that you think that the county board should be picking up. Or the county legislative committee, I should say. Also, Mr. Roth.
Just a quick question on that. Are you keeping the list of all those that we can track?
Correct. And we are gonna commandeer Heidi here with the blessing of Roger to help us make it pretty.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
And so we have like a little history of the county, and then the legislative priorities, which we still have to vote on for the next session coming up. That'll be a board decision, not a committee decision. So we'll determine whether or not we have consensus on that, and then we'll forward it on. And then that has to be something that the board votes on as our big priorities, like every other county does. We haven't done that historically, so we're working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Legislative priorities for the whole county. That's something that hasn't been done here at this level, and we are working on that with the feedback. And thank you, Heidi, for sending out yet another outline for those electeds to respond to us on those issues. Mr. Tepe.
Madam Chair, as you know, I have a pet project, which is raising the senior freeze tax limit. Have you heard anything about that? Or is there anything happening in the veto session?
In the veto session, I'm not aware of that, but I did hear there's going to be another increase. I don't collect Social Security, but there's yet another increase.
That's a
that-
3.9%.
So, you know, when there's like 3 bills that address your issue there, that are not killed, they're just, you know, they didn't make it through the last session. So that may need to be adjusted a little bit because of that, to actually address those issues.
Well, the key thing is if it does not get through to the veto session, then it won't happen until next year. If
Correct.
it happens in the veto session, it could actually be effective for next year. So, you know, as when our representatives were here and we met with them, I said, I judge you on one issue.
Yeah. They are
And-
aware of it. I can tell you that I'll get an answer to that because I don't know where they are on it. But I know that there were 3 different bills that address that, written a little bit differently, and I know it's priority for the other counties. So it's not just something that,
Yeah, we can't be alone on this. So,
yeah, oh God, we're not, we're definitely not. So
you know,
I have faith that it will go somewhere, but I will get back to you.
I'm about to send out an email out to my list in the next couple of days. So I'll
I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Good. I'd like
Okay,
to
yeah,
leash emails on them.
got you. I got you. I'm writing it down so I don't forget. One other, well, we have more issues, but so there's some electeds that have some legislative priorities that have been previously discussed throughout the last couple of years. And what has been done is they've been asked to do a one pager. So what a one pager is, you all probably know this, but a one pager is something that can be presented to our legislators. It's not like a 6-page, this is our plan, but it's 1 page, because if you give 6 pages to a legislator, they're going to put it on a pile. So the 1 pagers have been coming in, they're wonderful. And those will be going to our lobbyist folks, and then they'll get it done.
Could we see those?
Sure, we can see.
One-pagers?
Yeah, we
Could
can
you
see
send
it.
those to us?
Yes. Absolutely. And then we did have some questions from our animal control about a bill that was passed and signed in August. And this bill is Pets for Vets. I think it's 2,500, HB 2,500. It was signed by the governor. At any rate, the Pets for Vets waives all fees for veterans adopting. So there was some questions from our animal control folks as to how often that has to happen, if there's a quota on it, and if there's any funding in sight for that. I do not have those answers yet, although I personally met with the author of the bill and frankly didn't get any answers to it, but not for lack of trying. I don't know how it will affect our revenue as it pertains to the adoption fees, because I don't know how many veterans are adopting in King County. So that's something that we're going to have to learn and try to understand. And then if it's sufficient enough, then we can go after funding in a more aggressive manner. But that was something that Dr. Youngstead brought to me, and there we go. What else do I got for you? Does anybody else have anything Ms. Bates, do you want to talk about anything?
I could talk about plastics. So I will send you a one pager on my environmental priorities.
Okay. I don't know where my notes are here, so. They're missing in action. Well, that's okay. Half the things in my folders are gone too, so sorry, I don't know exactly what happened to that. So we'll wing it.
I have a request.
Really quick, Ms. Bates, if you don't mind. I know that Ms. Bates has been engaged with our partners, so we have, we are members with ISACO and Illinois Association of County Board Members. Those are great, wonderful programs. Also, as you know, and I tell you guys this all the time, there's free available training through those associations. Their webinars and conferences and whatnot. I encourage you to continue to navigate through those as best you can and bring back what you learned right here.
Is it on their website?
It absolutely is, yes. And then you should be getting emails from them too through,
I am,
yeah, so.
and I read
And if
every
you
one.
click the links through the emails that are sent to us, it brings us right to,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I have a comment about that.
Yes, please comment about that, but I
so-
wanted to address that.
So
for you.
ISACO, I told this committee last month.
Phone, please.
I told this committee last month, Bates speaking, that I had contacted ISACO with the idea of having a environmental consortium of counties to work on, our issues together. And so I signed up, but it looks to me like the committee only happens if 5 other people want to sign up for the committee. So is that right?
I believe there are.
There are 5 people who signed up?
I thought you were CC'd on that email.
Okay,
I'll double check.
okay.
Yes, let me see here. I think I might have actually found my note. Yeah,
Okay.
they're just really details of what's not happening in Chicago or in Washington. Some of our issues cannot move forward until we actually have a speaker, I guess, in place. So there's a lot of stalling that, it's not stalling, it's just non-functional. And we pray that that gets fixed. Hopefully they'll come up with 217 somehow, some way. Because there's a lot of things happening in Washington. So one of the charges that our lobbyists have is, well, I don't know what they're called now. They used to be called earmarks. So I'm going to keep calling them earmarks, but that all happens before they actually get into session next year. So some of those things have to be like, it's a matter of, hey, I think King County might need this conversation. And that's how it happens organically. And I know our lobbyists are doing those things. It's really hard to explain how they work. I don't even know how they work. I mean, I watch them in action and they're very interesting because the sausage isn't always made in the boardroom. It's made somewhere else. But they're good at it. So I anticipate that you all will have more information sent to you once we are in session, including next week in veto session. And then furthermore, when we get things going in Washington as well. So please anticipate that. Anticipate our beautiful setup for our legislative priorities, and that should be coming soon for the board, the whole board to vote on, but for us to have consensus and then send to them. The obstacle has been there, and I will say this for everybody who listens, yet again, and if you all, as my committee folks, please encourage your directors, the parties that are invested in legislative issues, anybody who has a legislative priority. I would really appreciate that we have them come here. If you are a chair of a committee and you have legislative issues, please do me a one pager so that we can address it in a more professional, I guess, setting and lay it out for everybody so that we can get where we need to be easier if we have that feedback coming. And it's really hard to get people to do that. So I'm leaning on you to help us get that stuff, that information.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Bates.
Bates, please. You're having the bi-weekly updates. That's the team meetings with our lobbyists.
So they're going to be their bi-weekly phone calls,
Uh-huh.
and that'll be with myself, Mr. Linder, and the lobbyist team.
Could we get a synopsis of those meetings? So that could kind of help to springboard us.
We will absolutely be sharing what's discussed. It's really
Mhm.
hard. I mean, there's a lot of proprietary information when it comes to their processes and how they work and function.
Well, don't tell us that part then.
I
Tell us
won't.
The other parts.
I won't.
Tell us
Mike
the other
might.
parts.
Mike might. I don't know. Yeah.
Because I'd like to know what's going on in those meetings. You know, if
And-
you-
and that-
if you would have to kill both of us, if you told me,
I'm not killing anybody, but
don't
I
tell
did
me.
hear something about native plants.
Disseminate that. The reason there's only two of us there.
Microphone.
I know, but clean up. But Open Meetings Act still allows you to take a synopsis of the meeting
100%.
and send it to all of us. We cannot reply all. But
And as you know, this committee was like nothing more than to continue being transparent. So you'll be
and this
getting
doesn't
those.
feel transparent to me, frankly speaking.
I'm sorry, say that again?
This does not feel transparent to
What
me.
part?
These two bi-weekly meetings that we're not getting notes from.
No, there are no notes yet. There are no notes yet.
We haven't had one
Yeah,
of those
so-
yet. Setting those up,
Yeah,
and you
we,
will
they'll
get
get
notes
'em.
from them.
That-
You know,
that-
if you'd
never
like
mind.
for me to send a note saying nothing's happened yet, I will do that.
Let's just, oh, wait a second. No.
you will get them.
That would be
transparent.
Well, now I'm
There you go.
embarrassed.
Don't
Now
be
I'm
embarrassed. Don't ever be embarrassed.
Well,
Don't ever be embarrassed.
Hardly ever, but once in a while I
Um,
deserve it.
There are a few questions that I have about. So we are members. Just, I want to feel you guys out here about this. So we are members of ISACO, Illinois Association of County Board Members, and some other memberships here. And I wanted to know, looking at the future of this committee, one day, maybe we might have actual staff. That would be lovely, but right now we don't have that. But in that vision, one of those things would be, how do we navigate those organizations coming through legislative? So notifying us directly about things. I mean, how do you all, is that something that you would like to see them, sending us newsletters directly to legislative, working directly with legislative? Their bills and invoices sent to legislative.
Let's just use like ISACO. which
Well,
is
like,
a-
for example, I'll use like Rogers, everything that he does goes through, the head of that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
like, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Or E&E goes through Jody.
Right, like, yeah, because we don't have that structure. So it's just
Mhm.
something that was on my mind. We had, when we all started this, we had a vision, but we're slow in getting it done. But I mean, I don't know that we have to have a lengthy conversation. We can talk about it online, so,
Mm.
or offline.
Well, I think that'd be a good idea. Someday we may have a director of legislative liaison-ness.
Should.
Yes. How about S?
Yes.
All, Mr. Roth.
I think I would just recommend like throw a PowerPoint together of what the vision is and how we're going to execute it. And I'd be willing to help you put that together.
Well,
if
I
you
would
need help.
absolutely let you handle that.
Fair enough. Well, because then you put it on paper and it's the old saying, throwing spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks.
Right.
Because if we don't put a line in the sand, you have a vision, Mike might have a different vision, maybe
Well, the
Steve have.
committee has to have a vision. That's the point.
right.
I mean, we are one structure here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying by putting it on paper, it's a starting point to have that discussion.
So you're going to handle that for us?
I will work with you and Mike.
Thank you. You are signed up. I'm gonna write that down too, so I don't forget. I got Teppy and Roth here, so. Also, we are going to have, we're trying to set up with the undersheriff reached out. There's some legislative, issues that they are having. And we want to try to find some fixes for those. So we are setting up with our lobbyist doesn't even know this yet, so. With a legislator to have a meeting with the legislator, the undersheriff. To discuss a possible solution, and it has to do with the social work. I don't exactly know what the problem is, but there is some hiccup in the legislative that needs to be corrected. And I would rather those people handle that than somebody who doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about. And that is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. So I asked the legislator if I could share the phone number, and that all said, great. So perfect. What else do we got? Anybody else have anything for the good of the committee? Anybody online? Mr.
Well-
Gordy, you got anything to say?
I have,
Hi, buddy. No, he's quiet. Ms. Bates.
I still have a pet project. And that's that my constituents along Orchard Road who live in San Souci were many years ago promised a sound barrier wall. And I would appreciate any help from this committee in helping me resolve this issue. Every time I see Tom Rickard, he runs in the other direction. He knows it's not an imposter because I always ask him about, build the wall. I want to build the wall. So, I've been told so many different answers because it's so complicated that everybody thinks it's a different answer, such as talk to DCEO. And then I talked to Matt Hanson, who turned out to be the wrong person because it's not his district.
Right.
But I think I need to connect with the state senator on this, but maybe legislative could help me.
Well,
figure
yeah,
that out.
so if you would do a favor to this committee and write down all the parties that are, because it is a collaborative,
Three-way.
it is a three-way collaborative, and correct me if I'm
Okay.
wrong here, but I believe it's a three-way collaborative project with the state, the county, and the city of Aurora.
You're exactly right.
And so if you could just
Okay,
put down the players in that, and then we can stick our lobbyist on them too.
cool. All right, because this is something I promised my constituents because I
yes.
thought it was coming. And then I found out,
Yeah.
show me
Okay.
the money. So, okay. All right, that's a good idea.
Mr. Linder, do you have anything to add?
No, I want to thank Heidi for.
Microphone, please.
Want to thank Heidi for her efforts and apologize that we haven't really given her a lot of feedback on it yet. We've both had a lot going on and
Darn budget.
yeah. So
It's all good. It's all good.
we do
Been busy over
appreciate your
here
efforts.
also. It's all good.
We're gonna get things rolling, so.
No worries.
But thank you. Yes, for
Yes.
sure.
Please come to the special flipping of the switch
Oh, yeah.
We changed the date. When is the date now?
Friday, this Friday at 10.
Oh, Miss,
Thought we changed the date.
We did to this Friday.
Oh, okay. It was last Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
I do see, Mr. Rickard has his hand up. So committee, if you, Mr. Rickard, please go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to make everybody aware of that over the next couple months, we might need to be talking with our legislators in accordance with a topic I brought up yesterday, the plan of action for regional transit. It came up as part of the discussion that Mr. I'm sorry, our director for the Metro Board, Joe McMahon, And so it's something that we need to at least start tracking. There was CMAP did submit options as far as they voted for, and they will be submitting it to our legislators down in Springfield. These are options that are meant to address the fiscal cliff that I think most of us have heard about in regards to the RTA as well as the service boards and addressing their fiscal needs. So that's something where there are potentially impacts to Kane County as well as the region as a whole. And so there will need to be some discussions. If anybody has any questions in the future, I'd be glad to sit down and talk about those issues and the way that those options that were adopted by the region may impact Kane County as a whole.
Mike Linder here. If you would try to write that up into a one-page statement that Michelle could have the lobbyists have in their hand, you can get that to either Michelle or me as soon as possible. We will get our lobbyists. I think they're probably picking up on that focus by themselves, but we'll get them on that.
That sounds good.
Bates, please.
Thank you, Tom. Did you have anything else
That's all.
so far?
So far, I mean, I will continue to work on the Aurora concern relative to the fence.
Hi, Tom.
The city is the lead agency on that, and
I talked to Ken Schroff last night.
okay, we'll partner in whatever way we can in order to keep things moving forward.
This wheel is going to keep on squeaking.
Thank you, guys.
I have
Ms.
another
Bates,
question.
go ahead.
For Mr. Rickard, I didn't want to ask this yesterday because transportation was such a busy, there was so much. Oops, unmute myself. No, I don't need to unmute myself. What is causing the fiscal cliff?
Microphone.
What fiscal cliff is this happening? Why is it, what is causing the fiscal cliff?
As a result of COVID, ridership is ridership is significantly down. And if it wasn't for the ARPA funds, the transit boards, the service boards would be in serious trouble. By the end of 2025, there will be fiscal issues. There will be a shortfall of $730 or $760 million. I forget it off the top of my head, but it's pretty significant. And within the next few years, it goes up to nearly $1 billion that the region needs to address. And so there's a lot of options that have been laid out, for primary funding options that have been laid out that were adopted by CMAP. Our legislators required CMAP to do a study and to lay out some options and to submit those options to the legislators down in Springfield by January 1st, I believe. It's beginning of the year, they have to get those options down there. And so it is a concern, as was mentioned by our Metro director at Transportation Committee yesterday. Metro is still only up to, I think, 76% capacity pre-COVID. So there's that shortfall is causing a funding issue. The fare box ratios are not being met. And so the region as a whole, myself, Madam Chair, Jackie Forbes from our department, we've been in numerous meetings trying to work with all of our transportation agencies across the region to figure out how to achieve mobility recovery from COVID. So that's just kind of a synopsis. There's actually a very large report that was just adopted with all the options in it. I can explain some of the fiscal funding mechanisms that is being proposed if anybody wants to meet with me at another time, and I can get into the weeds on that.
Okay, but the fiscal cliff is sort of the COVID.
I don't think it's the first time I've heard that. Without COVID money, everybody would be broke. Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, I think I heard that recently. Okay, I don't have anything else. I don't know if if anybody else on the board has, you don't have anything health department wise, no legislative priorities? I'm trying. I know, Ms. Molina's, judiciary, I hope you can, bring anything legislatively to this committee as well, all of our chairs, and all of our people on this committee. That'd be greatly appreciated so we can get where we need to be.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Bates,
Fine oiled machine.
I think we're missing a bearing, but
I just said, so
Might be
it can be
oil.
a fine oiled machine working
Okay.
together.
So I think, so right now, energy, and Bates, speaking, right now, the Energy and Environmental Committee is working on our climate action plan. And I think that's going to be completed by January. And then I think there's going to be possibly some legislative needs that will come out of the climate action plan. So
Bring
we'll
it.
bring it on.
bring
We
it,
will toss it
Bring
in
it.
your lap.
bring it before it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Ross, did you have something else?
No, I don't want to volunteer for it.
You don't want to?
I don't know how come I've got 4 things to do now?
No, I appreciate this committee. You are all amazing. I got nothing else. I do want to thank our staff as always for doing a fantastic and amazing job. All of you. Especially our people sitting next to me that tolerate our nonsense. And I got nothing. So
Madam Chair,
don't have any reason for executive session. We don't have any public comment. And so that leaves us with
I haven't found out.
I move adjournment.
Strathman seconds.
adjournment. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Congratulations for finishing early in spite of